All right, Jacob Cordero here, SmokingMeatGeeks.com. Thanks for joining us. We got an awesome one for you today. We got wireless probe thermometers here. We rounded up all the devices that we could find that meet our definition for a wireless thermometer. That means that it's got a probe that uses Bluetooth to communicate to your phone. We'll be doing a boiling water test. We'll be doing like a controlled warm bath in a sous vide bath at about 140. We'll be cooking some roast. And so we'll be trying them on high temperatures up to like 450 degrees, all the way down to like the 140 for the warm bath, and see how they do as far as accuracy, communication. We'll talk about the application and report winners and losers at the end here. So make sure that you subscribe, like to help us out, do more of these awesome videos. We've got 4 in the lineup today. We've got the Tapacue, the Yumly, the Meatstick, and the Meter.
These have got the full features you would expect for a pit thermometer. You've got a meat probe on one end and a chamber probe on the other, so it's 2 thermometers in one. Hopefully enough that you can run a cook with just one of these units connected up directly to your phone without a base station. You tried out the apps, have basically the same features as your full-size wireless thermometers?
All these applications do a great job in just basically getting you cooking right away. Some of them do a better job than others as far as explaining the different permissions that it wants to grant from your phone, like location services, Bluetooth. Some of them request for Wi-Fi because they have some cloud ability. I think the one that did the best job as far as explaining a lot of those permissions and kind of taking you through a step-by-step process was the Meatstick. This one really did a good job as far as the graphic user interface and the user experience, as the Meter did. Yumly was pretty good. That one just has their main app for Yumly, so they do a lot of other stuff other than this smart thermometer. So there's a little bit more going on in the app, but it basically directs you and guides you where you need to go, and it takes you right through the simple process. The Tapacue, this one, the software isn't the same kind of graphic user interface that you get with these other ones, but it's basically straightforward. You type in an email address to log in, and it lets you right through, and it connects right away to the device. And then if you want additional stuff as far as like cloud services, like saving your cooking sessions and stuff like that, you can definitely do that by setting that up a step further. But for the most part, I think you'd be okay if you gave this as a gift to somebody that wasn't super savvy with technology. They could pretty much plug it in and get right to cooking.
So you got them in our I have round roast here. Can you just jab them in there like, say, a fireboard probe?
Yeah, so a little problem there. The probes that you're going to find here are all about the same thickness. In this group, the only one that was an outlier, again, was that Yumly one that was a little thicker. But right here I have the Tapacue Air Probe 2, and this is about the same thickness as the rest in our group. You can see in some of the close-up shots, it's going to be thicker than your normal probe thermometers. And the fact that you actually have to insulate the probe on most of these with the meat to keep them from basically burning up in 400 degree temperature.
Sure, you could cook off the transmitter if it's not insulated.
Yeah, so basically you have to stick them in at least to the halfway point here.
Okay.
And so what we found is that some of the ones that we liked the best had the actual sensor probe for the reading right towards the tip of the thermometer versus, kind of halfway back. The only one that we found that had it closer to the end of the tip was the Meter, and that was about 1/5 of the way, down the probe here.
Okay, so you don't get the flexibility on how you can insert these like the regular one.
What we found is that when some of these in the boiling water test, when we put it in, if it didn't go far enough into the water, you were getting a reading that was not accurate at all. So that was one of the main things that you're going to be looking at that's different in these probes versus your traditional thermometer probes. When it came to the sous vide bath at 140, all of them tested out just fine except for the Yumly. The Yumly, not so good, off by 5 degrees. And so that one also in the boiling water test never came close.
So all right, decision time. We've looked at all of these. They seem to be pretty good. Let's try to find the winner.
I want to start out kind of at the top here with the Meter. This one comes in at $99 for the Meter, their latest model. You have an option to purchase it either single, or there's like a whole block you can get. You can get 4 probes, that's like $269. The Meatstick coming in at about 99 bucks, so about the same price. They have an option where you can get like a bridge for Wi-Fi if you want to hook it up and make it basically Wi-Fi. It comes with 2 probes, that's like $180. And then the Tapicue is 79 bucks, and the more probes that you buy, the cheaper they get. So I think you can get 4 for $299. The Yummly is going to have to be our disqualified pick out of this whole testing. It never was anywhere close. The meter, discussing that one for the 100 bucks. This one is our number 1 pick, mostly because they have the probe, the sensor in this one is right about 1/5 of the way up the probe, which is the closest to the tip of any of these as far as the sensors go. So like on the Tapicue and the Yummly, their sensor beads are not quite halfway up, but probably right around that area there. Is where we were guessing that they were. The Tapicue doesn't have any information that we could find as far as where they put that bead, but that's our best guess as to where it's at. So the meter also, because of the fact that it has a great application, it's also got what they call their estimator technology. So that one basically asks you questions when you go to cook. What type of meat are you cooking? What's your ideal goal temperature? And then it estimates the time of completion. So that's really cool. That's some new technology that I'm super excited to see, and I'd like to see it move further. I don't know, we didn't test it out to see exactly like what that looks like when you're doing like a 10 or 12 hour pork butt or brisket or something like that. But we like the idea. The Meatstick also has something similar to that, but the meter one looks like it's a little bit more refined and advanced. So again, our number 1 pick is there. You can look at about distance on this one. As far as wireless distance, it's about 10 feet if you're not using the base station, but all these base stations except for the Tapicue have a repeater in them. And actually the Tapicue may have a repeater. You'll have to check on that, because the Tapicue itself seemed like it worked at about 125 feet away, while the meter says 165 feet if you have that base station next to the thermometer. So basically, if you're out at the grill, you want to leave the base unit next to the grill, and the thermometer will be in there, and that should be your 165 feet of wireless range. It also offers an ability for like cloud services, so if you want to hook it up and get your data online as far as your cooking sessions, charts and stuff, you'll set up an account on there and you'll have all that. The Meatstick, that's going to be basically our runner-up pick, 100 bucks. And then this one says about 260 feet of range. We tested it out, but I don't know that we got 260 feet out of it. Obviously that's going to change if you're in like a grill versus like a gas grill versus like a ceramic smoker or something like that, or even like your oven. So that's a pretty decent range for anywhere around the house. One of the things about the Meatstick is they do allow 8 probes off of this one repeater. So if you had more probes, that one looks like it's going to handle the most out of the group for the 100 bucks. Obviously you'd have to buy additional probes, but like I said, they have a model that's like about 180 bucks that comes with 2 probes and the bridge for the Wi-Fi that'll hook up to your router or your home local area network. And the Meatstick, I love their user interface with their application as far as being able to navigate it, understand like where you need to be as far as your cooking session, communicates to you really well as far as alerts and those kinds of things. It also has an option for notifying you if your phone is on silent. It'll let you know, hey, we're not going to be able to get that alert to you. And back to the meter real quick, they actually have an option on there that will, you can set it up to different priorities as to when you want it to alert you if your phone's on silent or let's say do not disturb. So that's pretty cool. So that's a little bit more of an advanced feature. Again, the Yummly, that's not something that we really need to discuss. I wouldn't, unless maybe perhaps we got a bad one. I don't know. But other than that, we didn't really evaluate the application too much, although it does look like it's been built pretty well. As far as the Tapicue goes, Tapicue, 79 bucks. Tapicue is Instapot friendly. The Tapacue is the only one that'll do that, but then there's still a bunch of limitations as far as like how you have to have the probe in there, how hot the other end of the probe can get, how far in the meat it goes. So that's the one thing with this technology that I think is going to be a question mark, is how long can you actually count on these devices to function the way that they're supposed to. But the idea of just being able to take the unit and put they've got magnets on them, so you can just kind of stick it to the back of the refrigerator. As soon as you put it on the docking station here, it already starts to charge. So if it's dead, it'll charge on, most of these run on AA batteries. None of them run off of any kind of USB charger or anything like that. So the idea is, yes, you can have it, just sitting around ready to go, no wires, none of that stuff. But again, just a question of like how durable are they?
All right, so looks like we got a nice style of new thermometer that can supplement or maybe be a gift to somebody you're trying to get into the smoky meat game. So for Smoky Meat Geeks, I'm Nathan, this is Jacob. Like and subscribe, and we're gonna dig into this great looking roast beef here.
Indeed.